Welcome to the Book Smoke. I'm going to try and do this video without crying. I might find it a bit difficult. Um, but yeah, this video really isn't anything to do with books. This is going to be more of a vlog, more of me telling you about something that I think I'm ready to share with you all. So, I recently watched a video on Charlie's channel. Her channel is Duvet Day Devours, and she did a vlog type thing. And I'll leave the link to her channel in the description, so you can go check her out. She's awesome, and yeah, so I got this kind of idea from her. And with grief, it's good to talk to people. I know that this is over the internet, and this isn't face to face with people in a room, but counselling really doesn't work for me, like in terms of grief and stuff like that. So I thought that maybe one of these videos might help me in my grief. So basically, I've said the word grief a lot. Basically, I've been in care for most of my life, been looked after by social services for most of my life, and at some point in my life, I forget when, I was placed with a foster family, and yeah, they were really the first family that I had, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were the kind of people that I really felt like I could call family for the first time. And one of those people was Richard Viney, who was my foster dad, and he was the best father figure I could ever have asked for, or hoped for, or anything. Like, I didn't have a father figure growing up, so he kind of was my father figure, and he was amazing. Um, um, see, so I forget exactly how long ago it was, but I think it was 6 years ago. Um, he unfortunately had an accident. What happened was, I wasn't around at the time. I was in town. I just finished college, and my foster sister Sarah phoned me and said, "Lee, can you meet me and Christine, my foster mum, in town? Um, there's something we need to tell you." So I go and meet them in town, and they tell me that my foster dad is in hospital. What happened was, he was a very keen gardener, and at the back of their house they had hanging baskets. Um, the hanging baskets were on a wall which was really high, and he would he would regularly go up a ladder and do the hanging baskets. Like, he'd plant new plants, or he'd just go up there and water them. Um, and unfortunately, this time he went up to the top rung and had a heart attack up there, and subsequently fell from the top rung, um, as I understand it, onto his head. Um, it was quite an impact. He was rushed to Royal Berks straight away, and he was in a coma for a couple of days, and then he was transferred to a specialist neurological hospital in London, um, where they deal with brains and head injuries and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and we went up there to see him. I mean, I didn't really, I kind of really didn't understand what was going on, but we went up there to see him, and he was in a bad way. He was in a medically induced coma, um, and he actually stayed in the medically induced coma for about 7 days. Um, and like I say, I wasn't living with them at the time. I was being informed of this along the way, but I did go to London to see him in the hospital. But yeah, like about 7 days after I went to see him, my foster mum phoned and said, she was crying on the other end of the phone, and I was like, "What's wrong? It's Richard, isn't it?" And she was like, "I think you know what's happened." And she informed me that he passed away, and she was extremely upset, and so was I. Like, he was my father figure, the one I could always speak to about things that I could never speak to anybody else about. I mean, he knows things, or he knew things that I have never even told my foster mum or my foster sister. That's how close and strong our bond was. Um, yeah, and I found the grief pretty difficult to deal with, to be honest. I I wouldn't say I went off the rails, but I kind of, I did things that I regret, um, and I'm not using it as his death as an excuse, but there was a lot of stuff for me to deal with, and I was only, well, I'm 21 now, so if that was 6 years ago, I was only 17, thereabouts. So, that had a big impact on me, obviously. And yeah, I was very distraught and very upset for a long, long, long time. I didn't know what to do. And that day when my foster mum called me and was crying over the phone and said that he passed, um, I went to my bedroom. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, she phoned me. I went to my bedroom and I literally cried the whole night. I can't remember a time when I actually stopped crying. That's how much it hit me, and I didn't think it would hit me that hard. Um, but yeah, it did, and it was a really painful experience to go through. Um, I know some people might be watching this and thinking, well, he was your foster dad, it wasn't blood related. But like I said, he was the only father figure I had. My real father, I don't know where he is now, but he was in prison. Um, and I haven't seen him for a long time. Probably about, I don't know, 18 years or something. So yeah, that is how strong our bond was. And yeah, and I just wanted to let people know what happened because it's kind of a bit of self-therapy for me. Like, I'm still dealing with things now. Um, I don't think about him every single day, which sounds bad, but it's kind of not, because if I did think about him every day, I'd be depressed all the time, and I don't want to be depressed all the time. Um, I understand and I acknowledge that he lost his life, and nobody should have to lose their life. Obviously, it's inevitable, but not in that kind of circumstance. That was just cruel the way he went. Um, and yeah, but I do think about him from time to time. I have days where I don't think about him at all, and I have other days where he's all I can think about, and I feel really down and depressed. And sometimes I don't even know why I feel down. But then I look back a day or a couple of days later, and I can attribute it to the fact that maybe maybe something reminded me of him, or something that he did reminded me of him. I mean, like something somebody else did, maybe. Just little things can remind me of him, like, even if it's subconsciously. Um, I suppose that's part and parcel of dealing with grief, to be honest. Um, yeah, so like I said, I just thought I would put this out there. Sorry it wasn't about books, but I did mention that at the beginning, and I mentioned it at the end of my last video. Yeah, I'm surprised I've made it through the video without crying, to be honest. But yeah, I just thought I would let you know. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, I know it sounds weird, but if you like this video, you can click like. If you wish, you may subscribe, and I will talk to you again soon. Goodbye.